Right now, global supply chains are physically fracturing, tossed around by deep geopolitical tensions and unpredictable trade wars on a massive scale. When these traditional connections fail, nations are forced to scramble, competing to find and secure more reliable economic partners before they are left behind. We are seeing the world economy be recasted in real time. The old maps of international trade are being erased and rewritten from scratch. In this environment, speed becomes a form of leverage. Moving first allows a nation to set the terms of a partnership while the market is still in flux. India's response to this shift arrived on April 27, 2026, when it signed a landmark free trade agreement with New Zealand in New Delhi. While trade treaties can often take years or even decades to resolve, this specific negotiation was finalized in a record 9 months. Closing a deal of this scale in under a year signals a high level of administrative coordination and a clear intent to outpace rival economies. To understand the physical reality of this agreement, you have to look at the sheer scale of goods now moving through these ports. This map shows the primary trade routes involved. The deal's core mechanic provides tariff-free access for Indian goods entering the New Zealand market. Over a 15-year window, that removal of trade barriers is projected to drive a capital inflow of approximately $20 billion. This structural shift moves New Zealand from the periphery of Indian trade into a primary, lucrative destination for exports. This wasn't an isolated event. It is a deliberate tactic orchestrated by Minister of Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal. As data shows, India has successfully signed 7 distinct free trade agreements in just 3.5 years. Maintaining this pace hits even larger targets, with similar deals expected for the European Union and the United States in the coming months. By securing these partnerships in rapid succession, India is building a global network of trade routes before the current window of economic restructuring closes. However, statecraft has its limits. New Zealand Minister Todd McClay noted that signing the treaty is only the first step in a much longer process. The transition to marketcraft means private businesses must now take the lead. They are responsible for building the actual supply chains and creating the jobs promised by the deal. That $20 billion projection remains purely theoretical until the private sector successfully mobilizes to utilize this new tariff-free access. This flurry of international trade activity is ultimately tied to a much larger domestic objective. Prime Minister Modi's vision, known as Viksit Bharat 2047, aims to transform India into a fully developed nation within the next 20 years. The capital and investment generated by trade deals like the one with New Zealand provide a financial foundation to help support the internal expansion this plan requires. Finalizing this agreement in just 9 months provides a blueprint for how India intends to operate as global trade routes continue to shift.